Welcome back to the Mason Cox Show, everyone. We have a massive catch-up to get on. It is a crazy episode, I'm telling you. But as always, we start off, follow us on Apple, Spotify, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm smashing the 7. Follow us on all those. Share, comment, like, do all that kind of stuff. Follow, hit the subscribe button so you can get every notification when a new one comes up. But today, some of the things we're going to cover, I'm telling you, it is pretty well. We've got Commonwealth Games. We've got Brittany Griner. We've got one of my favorite things, Kim Kardashian and Pete Davidson. We're going to talk about Kim K on this show.
What happened?
Big news in Kim K world. Entertainment. We're all about it here. We're talking obviously about footy, and we're going to have fan questions also. So there's a lot of things we're going to go through, mate. But without further ado, I will introduce my fellow colleague, Mr. Mason Cox.
Mate, I am hanging by a thread. It was a long couple of weeks and a long couple of weekends.
A lot's happened.
I don't get out that often, but I had a couple of big weekends. One, I went and saw you play against Port.
Yes, yeah.
Which we'll get to.
We will.
And then the weekend just gone, had a big Bucks party. Dusty.
Big Bucks party. Ooh, he's dusty.
It takes me minimum 2 days to recover.
I'm the same. Oh, I'm like, man, the older I get, the more days and more hours it takes to get back to normal.
Yeah, my organs are shutting down.
It's shutting down?
My lips are like the driest thing on the planet Earth right now.
That's a good start. Anyway, well, the first thing we'll get into, Commonwealth Games, obviously massive at the moment. There's a lot of stuff going on. Australia, I don't really understand the Commonwealth Games, if I'm being honest with you, Braden. It doesn't really make sense to me.
It's just the same as the Olympics, but all the good countries aren't in it.
Okay, so like, why are you doing it then? It's like...
because then we're number one.
Yeah, I just don't get it. It doesn't make... It's like literally just a trial run for the Olympics.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, 100%. We get all the golds. We're not complaining.
It's just a real pump up against... It's really a pump up against England, the people that used to own you, being like, hey, we're now better than you. Yeah. We've really jumped you. We jumped you in the gold medals.
Do it for the Queen. She's still all right.
Oh, she's still kicking. God bless her.
Hey, she's your Queen too now.
She is. We love you, Queen Elizabeth. You're a lovely lady.
Hail Queen Elizabeth.
I'm not going that far, but some of the things that happened at Commonwealth Games. Now, Peter Bol, big fan of Peter Bol here.
Love Peter Bol.
Was having a spag bowl wearing a bolo tie or watching him in his qualifier, which he dominated, like just absolutely murdered it. Like he's like 50 meters from the line, just like pulled up and was jogging past. He gets to the final, he wins silver. So wins silver for Australia, and we're going to try to get him on the pod. He's a bit of a fan, and big fan of Peter Bol. He absolutely smashed it, and he's become a worldwide sensation in the last like 4 years.
That's a brilliant effort, because like in those fields, the competitive nations are still in it. So like for him to do what he did was amazing. And Oliver Hoare as well. Shout out to Oliver Hoare.
1,500 meters.
1,500 meters, first to get gold for Australia since 1958.
Jeez Louise.
So it's a fair while, and it was a brilliant run and a brilliant call from Bruce.
Brucey, man. I'm telling Bruce is the ultimate. Yeah. He could do something like, I don't know, go into the grocery store. He can make that entertaining. Like, I'm telling you, that man, if you just overlay his commentary on anything, you'll be entrenched.
I love his passion too.
We had netball, won the 1,000th Commonwealth gold medal for Australia. They beat, I think, Jamaica, I want to say, in the final. Don't quote me on that.
Not just 1,000th for the year. I know we win a lot.
Oh, get stuffed. It's 1,000th all time, man. You're not that good. If you're talking about 1,000th in a year, you might talk about the US. But no, they did win the 1,000th. But the most entertaining thing that happened in netball, now I don't know if you saw this, Braden, but this was the most, like the funniest thing I've ever seen on a netball court. Now, very new netball. Being American, very new. I've dated a few netballers over the years, don't get me wrong, so I've got into it. But the English team was playing, and there was a girl that was running for a ball, like running back kind of like with a flight, and didn't get the ball, but like kind of got like sand, like literally jumped onto the actual netball pole and like bent it. Bent it like backwards, and then
Lee Matthews stuff.
Well, yeah, I don't know what that means, but yes. And then like it was crazy. So then like the pole's like off centered. So then they have to go and like bring out a new pole to like fix it in the middle of a game. Like middle of a game, there's two people, and they bring it out. And they take the old pole out. They put the new one in, and there's two people just kind of like sitting there looking at it like they've never seen a netball pole. And then they're kind of like, how do I fix this? Because it's still at an angle. And the good friend of mine, Jiva Mentor, just rolls up, rips the thing back in, and was like, all right, play on, let's go. And just move on. It was actually the funniest thing. Like whenever it actually happened, the girl, like, she full koala'd onto this like pole. Like she didn't just like hit it and fall off. She just full just hugged it. It just bent it.
Did she play on?
She did, I think. Yeah. That's my highlight of the Commonwealth Games. It gives you an idea of how much I've been following it. But another thing that's happened in the sporting world, we will get into footy at the end of this. Don't get me wrong. We're putting footy at the back end of this whole chat. But Something very interesting in like my world. I've got a bit of a weird connection with this girl, Brittany Griner. Now, she's kind of the reason I've got into sport and started playing college ball and then got into AFL and all that.
Which was crazy because you would, you'd essentially have to pretend to be Brittany Griner.
Yeah, that was kind of my job. And that led me into AFL life.
Yeah, nice.
It's a long story, but check it out. I've told it plenty of times. But she's actually been sentenced in Russia. Now, a lot of these women basketball players go overseas to China or Russia or different places to play and make money because they don't make as much in the WNBA. And she's gone over there and she was going to play, I think it was, and then she got sentenced for cannabis oil, which is like pretty legal in most U.S. states, I think.
Yeah,
and,
it's pretty standard.
Yeah, and now she's been sentenced to 9 years in Russian prison. And they're trying to figure out, I don't know if you heard that, they're trying to like trade swap for someone else in like America.
Yeah, it's like this, and it's a real crazy trade swap. So it's like one person had like cannabis oil on them and gets 9 years. The other bloke that they're like trying to trade is like an arms dealer.
It's a very, very questionable trade, I feel like.
Yeah, it's not a great trade. It's not a Derek Hine trade, but it's a I don't know, whatever gets the job done.
She's very profiled though, and it's been very well covered, so they definitely want to get her back because it's been like all over the news. But it is such a weird thing in politics to be like, we'll give one to get one. You wonder how many people do we have stashed up just ready to trade?
Yeah.
Like that kind of is what I'm thinking the whole time. Like who else does America have just like stashed in their prison system that they can like trade for someone else?
Yeah, you got someone like on a lower level, but you do like a future third round, like crime. No?
Oh gosh, we've got entertainment. Now this is my big spot, man. I was shattered. And I'll show you.
Shattered? I don't know what happened.
Shattered. Kim Kardashian, Pete Davidson, no more.
Don't
the couple of the century, Braden. You have to be across these things.
Don't toy with me like this because this is
they've broken up. It's official. Kanye, I'm telling you, would be the happiest man in the world right now.
There's no hope for anyone, is there?
Well, if they can't make it, I mean, like what? How are we supposed to make it? You know, I mean, Kim K and Pete Davidson. I mean, that is the couple.
They were very cute.
They were cute. They were cute because it was so ridiculously random.
Yeah, bad luck. So who broke it off?
I think they always say they mutually did it.
Right.
But they said one of the reasons was long distance. And Pete Davidson is currently filming a movie in Australia. So I want to say there's a little bit of it that's partially to blame for Australia being so far away from the rest of the world.
I'm on Hinge. If he jumps on Hinge, I'm just pack her up. Jeez.
He's on Hinge, mate. You got no chance.
Yeah, no.
I recently had a few days off. And now rural Australia, now you're from a beautiful place in the world called Echuca.
Yeah.
Echuca.
Yeah, the sneeze.
I didn't say that. I went to a place called Great Ocean Road, right down the street here in Victoria. Beautiful, beautiful place. If you've not been, I'm telling you, it is a highlight of the country. You have to go.
It is pretty. It's cold as shit right now, right?
It was sunny every single day, but like there's so many things. And talking on this podcast, I didn't realize, I guess, like maybe how many people have been listening to this and stuff. And I was in the Paulo Bakery Cafe.
Millions of people.
Millions, Braden. And one of the guys working there was like, hey, love the pod. And I was like,
that's so good.
Thanks so much, man. I was like, hey, man, we're doing it, Braden.
Oh,
we're reaching the outskirts of Apollo Bay. They're listening in. So shout out to the Apollo Bay Bakery. They're known for their scallop pies. Delicious.
Which sounds gross. But they're
delicious, mate. Don't even, we're not going south on this.
Shout out to Apollo Bay Bakery. No, I'm waiting.
Shout out.
I went to the MCG to watch you play footy and I was like, someone will notice me.
Someone will know. Are you waiting around looking around like someone?
Well, someone eventually. No.
No one has said anything?
No.
It has to be some random person on the street.
Yeah.
You see Braden walking down the street, make sure to say hi. Say big fan of the pod.
Please do.
Please do.
I'm not even shying away from it.
As you're traveling, I feel like there's a lot of things, right? So you'll run into little cafes and pubs and stuff like that. But a lot of times, you know, as you're on the road, you need to go to the toilet, right?
Yeah.
As everyone knows. It's a great segue, Mason. And I want to ask, because I feel like everyone's real awkward about talking about this, right? Everyone has different bathroom experiences. And
yeah, but what if I bring up mine and you're like, what the?
But that's the thing. No one talks about it, so no one knows what's actually proper etiquette. But
yeah,
there's one thing on this road. I don't want to say where it was, but we had to stop at a certain place. And I went to the bathroom, and like, as you go to the bathroom, I don't know, you know, there's like the most annoying things of a bathroom. Like you get the like paper thin toilet paper. It's like sheet by sheet by sheet you have to pull out.
And when you're wiping,
absolutely annoys the hell out of me.
your finger goes through and up your butt.
Jeez, I didn't say that. That's maybe too much.
See, this is what I'm talking about. When I say
too
stop.
much. When I say stop, I was thinking about like, the annoying sinks that are like one hand you can get in. You have to wash one hand at a time. I can't stand those.
Yeah, the sinks. That's
jeez. We talked about this previously. You watched a TikTok on air dryers and how disgustingly dirty air dryers are.
Oh, I don't know if you've seen this. It's like if you use air dryers in bathrooms to clean your hands, they're like a cesspool of just germs and bacteria, and they blow them onto your hands. So your hands are essentially dirtier having used the air dryer.
Yeah.
So what they recommend is you air dry them by like just waving your arms and it dries them out.
The one thing I always found weird when I came to this country, and I don't know if other people have felt this, but I went into a bathroom and there's this sign of someone like standing on the toilet, and it's got like a cross through it, as in like, don't stand and go to the toilet standing on the toilet.
On the seat.
On the seat.
Yeah.
And I was just, it's a culture shock because I feel like in other countries maybe that's acceptable. I'm not really too sure. But I'd never seen an actual sign like that. And I was confused and thought it was a joke. And then and then I come to realize people said, no, that's an actual thing. Like someone will stand above the toilet and go to the toilet.
Yeah. I worked on like fruit farms growing up in the country. And it's like you'd go into the toilets and there'd be 2 footprints either side of like the seat, like on the seat. And it's for reasons like that. But it's because other places, like they have the drop toilet. So it's not like a toilet and you just go over a hole and it drops into the hole. Just go
straight down in,
Which, man, just bringing that up.
Slumdog Millionaire type stuff.
That's got to be problematic for you. That's a drop and a half.
It's a drop and a half.
That's like a 5-footer.
Wouldn't be ideal. But without further ado, we will move on to everyone's favorite part of the podcast, Brittany Cox's news stories.
I've got some absolute bangers this week. And I say that every week, but it's just true every week.
Well, everyone's a banger, so.
Passenger fined $1,874. Fair bit of coin.
Fair bit of coin.
After 2 undeclared McMuffins found in their luggage.
How much?
$1,874.
And McMuffins were like $2.
Yeah.
Oh,
and if you've ever seen that, like the TV show about when they go through security.
Border security, whatever.
It's like, it's always like, oh, this passenger brought in 700 kilos of like duck eggs or something, and they just let him off.
Yeah.
So, but not this guy.
Not McMuffins.
Not McMuffin guy. I think they just wanted the McMuffins.
Oh my gosh. First of all, why is that in your like bag? I feel like that would be disgusting if you're leaving that in your bag for like like 2 hours on a plane.
It's a carry-on. That's not bad.
But you're flying internationally, surely.
For easy access. Well, a passenger traveling from Bali, Indonesia to Australia found themselves paying a hefty price for McDonald's breakfast.
So he would have lied on his little this sheet you fill out, and you always like
declaration.
Yeah, declaration. Like, no, I've not traveled through any mud in the last 2 weeks. Like
that stuff is like, have you been outside? No.
Nowhere near a cattle farm.
The incident came about days after the Australian authorities brought in tough new biosecurity laws for foot and mouth disease.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. Just eat the McMuffin. Like, why you got to bring it in? Like, why are you treasuring this thing in your carry-on?
You wouldn't think about it. You just chuck it in your bag and you're like, I'll eat that. He's probably hungover.
But just throw it out. Usually they just go, do you want this McMuffin? You're like, oh, no, I forgot that was in there. Throw it out.
Seen what they serve on these flights? He's probably like, I got to take a sausage McMuffin. He should have eaten it.
Yeah, 100%. Why would you bring it on there if you're not going to eat it?
Guard cat credited with preventing would-be robbery. This is a nice one.
Yep, this is a positive story. Yep.
This one's straight out of Mississippi.
Love that. Love the South. Always a good news story out of there.
Name of the cat? Bandit.
Bandit. What a legend.
It's almost ironic, right?
It is.
20-pound cat.
That's a fat cat.
9 kegs for us Australians.
Yeah. 20-pound cat.
The people tried to break into his house 3 a.m. in the morning, and the cat heard it. So he was like, well, I can't take down 2 blokes.
And what's the first thing the guy thought? Gun.
So Bandit ran into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Dragged the covers off Fred to wake him up, scratched the shit out of him.
We all know a cat like that too. There's a pain in the ass cat that no one really likes. It just causes like a problem every single time you see it.
And then he woke up and he's like, well, Bandit's never done this before.
Oh.
So something's happening. Something must be amiss.
Something must be amiss.
And so then he heard the kitchen, went out there. One robber's got a gun, the other's got a hammer trying to like break into the joint. So Fred goes back. A lot of
prep in it. What do we got around?
Gets out his gun.
Knew it. I called it.
By the time he gets back there, they've run off. And yeah, so Bandit saved the day. Bandit
hey.
foiled the bandits.
Oi, there you go. I don't think that's your best yet.
No, but we will end on a Florida man.
Yes, it's always Florida, Texas. I'm telling you, always at least one.
Florida man accused of driving to the Space Force base in a stolen truck to warn of aliens.
Hey.
See, this doubles up on our last catch-up. Florida man's been arrested after he was accused of stealing a pickup truck and driving to the Space Force base to warn the government about extraterrestrial and mythical creatures. Corey Johnson, 29, was arrested Friday at Patrick Space Force Base by local deputies after he attempted to get on the base. Johnson reportedly explained to authorities he was told by the president to warn the government that there was U.S. aliens fighting with Chinese dragons.
U.S. aliens fighting with Chinese dragons. Oh, thank God he went to the Space Force that we just recently created. Oh, man, that's so good.
They'll no doubt just be straight on the case.
Can I just ask what the Space Force's uniform looks like?
Yeah, in my head, it's like a silver onesie.
I'm almost thinking Spaceballs. Like just the big old like helmet.
If he didn't steal the truck.
It was the truck. It was just like the guy on the last one, the guy that was up in the Sydney Critic. If he wouldn't have pissed off the roof, would have been a legend.
So close.
Would have been a legend.
Because Space Force would have believed him. That's what they're there for.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine Trump's at the front of it. Anyway, from Florida man, another word that starts with F, we've got the footy chat, mate.
Oh, segue.
The footy chat. Now, lots happened this weekend. Last 2 weeks, there's been a lot that's happened. Now, as of recent, Josh Kennedy kicked 8 goals in his final game. For me, I always kind of think like, if your team, like take the West Coast Eagles scenario, right? Like your team's out of finals. It's not really a ton you're playing for per se, you know? Like you already know you're not going to play in the postseason. Yeah. And let's say one of your legends of the club is going out. Like, do you just out of center bounce back half, like everything's going to him?
100%.
Just like, don't care. Every kick inside 50, Josh Kennedy, it's to you, mate.
Yeah, so they did this with Jared Roughhead.
Yes, they did.
He kicked, 6 in his last game?
6, I think, yeah.
I think it was against Sydney. But like, if West Coast had won that game, my argument is, why don't you just do it every game? Like, Josh Kennedy kicked like 7 goals or whatever. It's like,
well, there's your game plan.
Well, just kick it to him. What are you doing every other game? Just if it's that easy, kick it to him. And the other team knew they were going to kick it to Josh Kennedy.
Oh yeah,
still couldn't stop 100%
it. Would not.
Still didn't stop it. So it's like just.
It's a pretty good effort kicking 8 goals, knowing that the ball's going to you no matter what.
He kicks straight,
and like the whole team knowing that
he kicks straight. So
well, he's a good kick.
That's a big difference. It's like kick it to you.
Anyway, so we'll move on. So we had a game last Friday. Had a game Friday night. I don't know if you saw the game. Did you go to the game?
I didn't go to this one. So let's go back one more. We went to Port. I went to the Port Adelaide game.
Yes.
There was
that's your segue.
I got free tickets to a Collingwood function. Or
you know a guy.
Or you could drink alcohol.
Oh gosh, jeez, couldn't only imagine you on that.
But yeah, so I remembered the end of the game. So that's pretty good.
That's a good start.
And I remembered one of your highlights.
Yep, go ahead.
Took a big clunk. Right on the line. That was pretty crazy. It almost looked like it was going to go through. But
I made certain of it, Braden.
Lucky you got there. Trent Bianco, who's going to slot a goal. But no.
It was actually a good snap from the boundary, like by him. And I was
nice.
like,
I had a good view of it.
It's very, very good.
But you got to make certain of these things.
Oh, mate. And, it was an important goal.
Went back, pumped it through.
From all 2 meters out.
And you're
really tough.
Now you're in goal kicking form. So
Braden, we don't jinx these things on the pod.
On the weekend, we were talking about going back with the flight in the netball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You went back with the flight and took a courageous mark. Slotted it. That was pretty good.
Got fired up. Nothing better than having a big 70,000 crowd Friday night, just living it up, mate.
Yeah,
you need to kick a snag in front of 70,000.
What celebration?
So good. You just get the double cobras, but like the fist pump cobras, not the up top, just to keep it in close, let the boys know, get around them. And then you look up and you see your number on the substitute thing. You go, all right, see you boys, we're out. I've done my job. I'll catch you next quarter.
You've been doing it for probably longer than this year, like for a long time. You've been the man on the mark. And it's only been
got some attention recently
in the last couple of weeks that BT has noticed it.
Brian Taylor, it's always just interesting fella. Always gets something going.
But I think what you've probably adapted, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but the Jack in the Box style.
Well, I've had to change it up because of these stupid stand the mark rules.
Yeah, right.
So we're not allowed to just run up and run back and forth and run on the side and like make little gestures and all that stuff. It's like the umpire's like, stand, like you have to stand here and you can't move.
So you can jump straight up.
You jump straight up and that's like as much motion as you can do.
So you go down essentially almost on all fours.
I try to become as
like
small as possible. And then right whenever he's like running up before he kicks it, you become as big as possible.
Yeah.
And usually, and I've had like other oppositions told me this, they're like, it actually scares the shit out of me. Because I'm not used to a human that big being on the mark. And if you do it right before I kick, I'm going, oh, maybe I'm actually too close to him.
How tall do you think you get? So you're 210 from foot to top of your head.
212, and then I think also arm length above.
So then arm length is probably like another 70 centimeters?
I don't know what we're talking about in centimeters, but I would say, yeah. You probably,
and then the jump.
Probably I can touch a rim, so it'd be 10 feet.
That's pretty big.
Brian Taylor's taking this to the nth degree.
The Georgiades one, because you do celebrate when they miss.
I don't celebrate, but what I do, and this is a bit of dog act by me, I'll just walk by him, give him a little tap on the bum, and go, good shot, Brass.
Oh.
Just a real dagger, just to really let him know, Or you just pat them on the back as they're like pissed off fixing their shoelace as if there's something wrong with their shoe whenever they kicked it. Yeah, maybe next time, mate.
Don't mind that. And some big news.
What's up?
You hit your trigger in your contract.
Yeah, thank you, IFL, for releasing that. Apparently our contracts are not public. You know, tweet it. Anyway, yeah.
So it was true, though.
It's true, but it's also like, dude, like, come on. Well, it's not your information to release. And they've just literally just put it out in the world. Just, oh yeah, by the way, this is a signed contract, like really between us two. We're not going to tell anyone else. And then you go and tweet it out to the world. Anyway.
So there was an article that said that you hit your 1 year trigger contract by playing X amount of games. It's very specific, like contractual details.
Yeah.
That's great news.
It is great news. I'm going to be around for another year, so you have to deal with my shit for another year. But no, it's kind of crazy, man. You look back to the year from the beginning, and starting off the year, I thought it'd be great, and then we went into this kind of lull, and I was kind of thinking this might be my last year, and then the opportunity kind of came and made the most of it, and then played enough games to hit the trigger, and we'll be around again. You're
starting to nudge some numbers. I keep talking. I'm eyeing that father-son.
Father-son. You reckon my kid's going to be playing footy?
100%.
No chance. My kid is playing NBA, and I'm retiring on his first contract.
Nah. Nah, good luck. He'll be strutting around the AFL.
Can you imagine that? Another annoying ass American rolling around. Just
so good. Almost do it out of spite.
Just out of spite.
We better get into the fan questions because we're running out of tape.
Running out of tape. I'll let you start off on the first one, brother. Hit it.
How is the relationship between you and the other defenders that you play against? That's from Hados I-21.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I've talked about this before. There's a bit of a big boys club. Now, it's like rucks, tall defenders, tall forwards. And we're all kind of mates, I feel like. Like during the game, yes, you punch each other and hit each other and hate each other. But like after the game, everyone's like, how you been, man? Like what's how's the family been? What have you been up to? Like on the weekend, I need Max gone and he went down. Then after the game, I was like, man, how's it like being a father? Like after the game, I was just like, how you been? How's the kid going?
He's like coughing up blood.
And he's like, that's great. I love it. It's just a great time.
Do you wish that you'd ever played for a less scrutinized team? That's a good one.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I actually was having this conversation with someone recently, and they brought up that they said that I was the most scrutinized player on the most scrutinized team in the country. So you played tall forward at Rock, which is one of the most scrutinized positions for the most scrutinized team in the nation.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny to me because I'm like, just some guy just doesn't know what AFL is, just like walks in, is like most scrutinized player, one of the most scrutinized players in the league. This makes no sense.
I feel like it just works though, don't you reckon?
No, I just kind of take it in stride, I feel like.
You're the guy for it. Otherwise it's what? You're playing for like a lesser known club. You kind of just skirt along. It's a bit boring.
I mean, I wouldn't be probably doing the pod, to be honest, if I was in a smaller club.
Oh.
Like I think I'd I don't know, like if I'm playing in a smaller club, like maybe there's like Gold Coast, maybe a better lifestyle. I don't know. Maybe there's like kind of better weather. There's some kind of positive to it. But there's other clubs that, like, I don't know, you'd play for, but I don't think I'd have the opportunities that I've had being able to play for the Commonwealth Football Club. Yeah. Whenever I first signed on to the Commonwealth Club, one of the reasons I was signing on with them was not because of only their team and the coaching staff and stuff, but also because I knew I'd be in the center of Melbourne and if getting a full experience of what AFL was.
Yeah, 100%.
And like that's what I've been able to do, and it's been an amazing, amazing experience. We'll go on to the next one. That was from Tam459. Shout out. Thanks for sitting in the questions. The next one, things you have learned since starting out as podcast host. Now I'm going to ask this to you because you technically are a host too for this thing.
Yeah. No, I'm so rough.
So rough.
Yeah. No.
I feel like you've gotten better though. And I've got some good feedback from people to say that, you and Brayden riff off each other very well.
Well, tell them to send some feedback to me.
This is my feedback to you from other people.
That's good. No, I didn't expect to be on the show ever. I just thought it was going to be you and I was going to be like
drag your ass into this.
Sitting over by the desk. But no, it's good. Like building the community, people are getting around us. I like making like the social clips and stuff. And then because I edit it, I can make me look better.
Yeah. Make me look worse. Got it.
Which I often do.
What's your favorite part about doing the podcast?
The feedback from the community.
Love that.
Like people getting around it and saying like stuff like, I remember we missed one deadline and people are like, oh no, like it ruined my
ruined their week.
Start to the morning and stuff because it's part of their routine. It's like, like on a Wednesday going to work, they listen to it or whatever. And then you realize like it is a part of people's routines. And like, that's really cool.
And that's why you subscribe to the podcast. You follow, like, comment, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Let's go.
Thought we got him. Next Americans coming through, I assume that means in footy.
Yes. Now, this is something I would love to do. I'd love to kind of do what I was able to do is bring Americans over to Australia to play. I think there's plenty of talent over there and everything else, and being able to sell the game to a different country.
And you can speak their lingo.
Yeah, I know. And like we've got an exciting, we haven't really released this, but we've got an exciting little side experiment we're going to come out with too soon. So everyone stay tuned. It's along this whole like idea of being able to sell the game overseas. But that's kind of something I'm very passionate about. I think it's an amazing, awesome game, as I've said many, many a times, that's not very known outside the borders. And with the magic of this thing called the internet, we should be able to give access to people to it.
If you could get some young, athletic, like basketball talent, like across, they
would kill it.
Do some crazy stuff.
I'm a broke athlete compared to people back in America.
Just get it happening earlier.
Who is your dream person to have on the pod? From Joel Snazzy26.
I like
Who do you want on the pod?
I want Tommy.
We're gonna tag him in this.
I want Tommy Little.
Tommy Little.
Like
I think I might have a connect there. I might be able to sort that out.
Yeah, right.
You always just know someone. I want Andy Lee. Yeah. Andy Lee was like one of the first people I knew about in Australia because he had this famous skit of if you ever heard it, it's like this guy, they call a random number and ask him to be a reference for a job.
Yeah.
And it's like this whole, you have to look it up. It's hilarious. But there's a random number and this guy like just vouches for this random person and they like call him up as the company and they're like, hey, we heard about, let's say Rob's his name. Heard about Rob. He's applying, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, how's he with numbers? And he's like, oh yeah, he was our accountant at the local football club, it's just pretty good. He like goes on this whole rant. It's hilarious. Andy Lee, they're just like losing it on this thing. You should look it up on YouTube. It's hilarious. But Andy Lee, we're going to get you on, mate. We're going to get you on.
I like that.
Still need to get Tony Armstrong.
We'll get him.
He said he would.
We'll track him down.
Tony, come on, mate.
We'll track him down. When the siren goes and you win, what do you think about at the time?
The past few times I've actually been on the bench. So it's kind of like you come off with a bit of time left and you're kind of going, I have no influence anymore kind of thing. Like this is, you can help out by telling people from the bench what to do. And like, if we go into a certain like situation or whatever, but the main bit, like actually being out there, you're kind of like, you almost watching this, you're like almost in the stands, like watching this whole thing transpire.
Yeah.
But as soon as the siren goes, it's just like, if you're winning the game, you win it. Like you're static and you kind of look over and I always look to Craig and Craig's like, yes. I'm like,
he was pumped.
I'm so psyched for him, man. Because you can imagine a first year coach, like, and having the success that he's had in the regular season so far, like, it'd mean the world to him, you know? Like, you have all that pressure as one of the big, like the coach of the Commonwealth Football Club. Like, to win that many games is a credit to him, what he's been able to do. And it's just cool to see him really enjoying it. Like, I really get enjoyment out of seeing him enjoy it, if that makes sense.
Attitude is phenomenal. Like,
no, he's a great human. Can't say anything
he's a great human
negative about him.
Like, regardless, all the time. Like, he's so happy and just everything. It does also help that you're like having an absolute tear of a season, like winning every week. It would just be, he's just
entertaining too.
Riding this roller coaster of like, he just gets to be positive all the time.
But he is.
There is no negative.
Like his
so
actual, like,
it helps.
It's in his nature to be positive all the time. And he reinforces positive.
Yeah.
And I think that's very much something that like everyone does, you know? It's like, if you can have positive energy you give out, I feel like it comes back.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm loving the vibe coming out of the club at the moment.
Yeah, 100%, mate.
We haven't talked about your shirt.
Yeah, sorry. We'll finish off this. We'll do the final siren of the podcast talking about this shirt. How cool is this? Someone sent me this the other day. Triple wafer. It was just like the, what you call it? Telescopic Cox. I think
that's a
BT that did BT again. BT just loves it. He's got something for me, whether it be Jack in the Box, Telescopic Cox, American Pie. He's got many nicknames for me.
Yeah. You'd rather him talking about you.
He should be getting a little cut of these things, I think. Little BT.
He's setting you up. We should be making t-shirts off everything that he says.
Maybe we should get BT on the pod. Who knows? Huge. We should get him on a catch up. I'm a big fan of that.
Roaming Mason.
Roaming Mason, yes. Oh, yes. Now we're talking.
Oh,
all right, well, that is the final siren to the podcast to catch up. It has been a massive 2 weeks. There's a lot of stuff we've gone through, from the entertainment of Kim K and Pete Davidson.
That's got me shook.
Shook. Absolutely shook. And everything else in between, from Commonwealth Games and whatnot. It's been a great chat as always, Braden. Thank you so much for doing this. But I'm going to actually put the pressure on you. What's the 7 platforms you got? Like, follow, subscribe, so everyone rings the bell and you get a notification every time there's a new one that comes out.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and then I know Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook.
There it is. There's 7, baby. Yo! Check us out on all of them. Hit the like, subscribe, follow, and that'll give you a notification every time we come out with a new one of these, whether it be a new podcast as far as a catch up, or a new podcast with a new exciting person on as a guest. So
big guest next
we've
week.
got one of the biggest boys of all the land. Can we say who it is?
No, secret.
You'll see it next Tuesday. Check it out. It's going to be an amazing one. It's going to be one of the best of the season. I can promise you that. And it's an absolutely epic chat. Epic chat with an epic person. So really just teasing that one in. But thanks so much for listening. As always, follow us on 7, subscribe, all that jazz. And until next time, we'll chat to you soon. And thanks for listening.
See ya.
Peace.